Okay, so before I proceed, anyone has any questions on the secure agent status or connections, creation of the connections? Anything you want to discuss?
Yeah, Siva, I have downloaded Oracle 19c and through SQL Developer I'm able to connect, but through this Informatica Cloud, it is throwing error like the connection has failed because of the following error. Error establishing socket to host and port. Reason connection refused.
Okay, connection
So,
refused. Okay, just make sure your Oracle services are up and running. So you just verify your services.msc. What you need to do is you need to go to, you can see my screen, right? You're able to see my
yes,
screen? Okay.
yes.
So you just need to make sure you go to your Oracle 19 home, DB home, TNS listener, and this has to be up and running. Okay, it has to be running.
Okay.
If it's not running, make sure it is running, and then you should be able to connect to your SQL instance. Or you can just type command prompt and launch SQL Plus from your command prompt and just verify your connectivity.
Yeah, through SQL Plus and SQL Developer, I'm able to connect, but only with the
Yeah,
SQL.
probably just verify it, and after the session, just look at some KB articles or look at some videos, and you should be able to fix that issue. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
fine. Yeah. So okay, I can also see Pradeep joined. Okay, I don't have the name. Sahati joined. What is? I don't have a name here. Okay, I can see Bhavani, Sahiti, Pradeep, Mahesh, Sahiti, and who else? Who else is joined? Can I have your name, please? Okay. Okay. So let's get started. So the first thing what you need to do is, the moment you log in to your Informatica Cloud Services, you need to make sure the services are up and running. So how do you make sure that? You need to go to Administrator Service and make sure your services are up and running, like mass ingestion, OI data collector, common integration components, data integration server. Okay. And you need to go to runtime environments and make sure the local secure agent is up and running. And I'll just give a quick recap on what has been covered so far. Like, we discussed about creating connections. We discussed about what, we discussed about secure agent status, which is completed. Oracle 11G or 12C or 19C installation and configuration, you need to make sure you have it in your laptop. So that has to be completed. And we also created an Oracle connection, a Flatfile connection, and a Salesforce connection. So just for the benefit of everyone, right? I'll also create one more connection. I'll just show you how to do it. So we have an Oracle SRC INFA connection that is created here. So you want me to explain it to you? How do you create a connection? Anyone has anything? Any questions on how to create a connection? Any questions on how to create a connection from anyone? Okay, you're good. Fine. So let's get started. I think we created these 4 connections. So typically, when you create a new connection, for example, I'll just tell you about it one more time. Let's say you are creating an Oracle connection. Just click on new connection, and you want to name it as connection underscore SRC INFA 2. It's a connection name. SRC2 is because I already have an SRC INFA connection. and this is an Oracle SRC INFA schema connection, and you can select the type as Oracle, and you need to choose your runtime environment as your local secure agent group and provide your password, username and password. SRC INFA host is your local host, and port number is the port number that you have in your instance, and the schema name, which is your schema name that you created when you installed your database. And code page, you can select MS Windows Latin and just click on test connection. So once you provide the appropriate values and you click on test connection, the connection should be passed. Okay, the connection should be passed, and you can just save the connection. Okay, got it. So that's how you create a connection. Now let's go to data integration. Okay, so we discussed about, other day we discussed about, we covered a few topics. Let me just recap that one more time. So what we did is we created a project called IICS Syria Training, a project that we created, and we created a folder inside the project called training. And under the training, we created these mappings where, we created an Oracle load and, customer central remove duplicates. We just covered these two things the other day. So let's go and create a new mapping. Click on new mappings. So this is a data integration dashboard. So you click on the create mapping, click on create. Okay, now today we'll discuss about a few transformations which include expression. We'll discuss about filter, okay, and joiner. So let's go and create a mapping m underscore. Let's go and look at the data first. So we'll log into the SRC INFA schema, and let's verify a table which is customers. So let's start from customers. Okay, so I have this customers table. I have these values where I have customer ID, name, company, first name, last name, address 1, address 2, city, state, postal code, phone, and email. So I'm going to use this table, customers. So I'll just give a name like m underscore customers filter, uh, filter expression. We'll just use a filter expression example. I'll just give an example like this. So just click on save. By giving a mapping name, you just provide a mapping name with a reasonable name to just explain about what it says, and just click on save. And if you look at this, the orange one, the orange display that you're getting is a clear recommendation. Okay, so clear recommendation is a standard set of recommendation which Informatica provides on what transformation can be used as part of your uh, downstream requirement. Okay, that's called clear recommendation. Clear recommendation in Informatica. Okay, clear is a it's a metadata that would support on saying that okay, this is what it is recommended for the next time. You just click on the dotted lines here, you get expression, you get filter, you get router. So it says okay, you can use an expression here, or you can use a filter, or you can use a router. Let's say if I just click on filter transformation, okay, I'll just give the name as filter null values. I want to filter the null values. Okay. So if I just maximize this, go to filter, you get two conditions called simple and advanced. You get two conditions called simple and advanced. So simple condition is, for example, I want to put a simple condition as state is equal to California. So how do I do it? Just click on the plus icon here and select your field name. Okay, we did not configure the source yet. Okay, let me go to source. The first thing what you do is you go to source, select your connection, then click on select. Select your customers table. Okay, so simple condition is, where you are giving a condition like equal to, greater than, less than conditions. Like, you specify a condition in the filter condition. So just save it again. Just make sure you keep saving your work, or else, you may have to redo it again if you have any internet issues. So you are doing a filter null values. So you go to filter here and maximize this, click on plus. Okay, you get a blank thing here because we already did a plus here. So if you want to delete it, click on the delete filter condition. And here, if you just click on this, you get a field name that you want to filter. For example, I want to filter state. State is equal to California. So I just put the value here without single quotes because it is going to take the single quotes automatically. You don't have to worry about it. Just click on state is equal to CA and save it. And if you want to double check if it is coming in single quotes or not, just click on the filter again. It's automatically, it will take the value of state is equal to California. That's a simple filter condition. All of you understood this?
Yes.
Any questions? Okay. So for example, you want to, sorry, you want to take advanced filter condition. Just click on yes. Now, in advanced filter condition, if you look at this, this is already taken as state is equal to CA in single quotes. And I want to click on add conditions. Like, I want to put multiple conditions. State is equal to California, and you know, for example, I want to take customer ID is equal to something like this. Click on validate. You get expression is valid. This is how you can do it. Or if you want to put a filter condition to null, to filter out the null values, you have built-in functions, and you can just if you want to just comment this, click on double, just put a comment here, and you can just put a condition like IAF is null off. Let's say you go to fields again, address to false, comma true, which means that this is going to filter your condition to filter rows with null values. So what it does is it is going to filter out the null values, and it will only pass on the fields which are not null. So this is address to, there are a few null fields in this address to which I want to filter. So I'll just put a if condition with null filter values. Click on OK. So this is an advanced filter condition that we have. Click on save. Right? And similarly, yeah, you can also have an expression here. Just click on, just drag it on the right side, and you can just put on this values. Click on expression, and in the expression transformation, you go to expression editor and just click on the plus icon, and you want to find some values, like you want to just have some you want to remove spaces from the company side, like let's say you want to just put a port like O_company with string values. This is company, right? The string, you can put maximum value 255 is fine. Just put a 255 here and click on configure. And let's say you want to do something like you want to remove the leading and trailing spaces. Ltrim, rtrim of, let's say company, right? So what does it do? It is removing the spaces before the character. Okay, IAF is a command which is actually giving a condition of checking the null values. Like your there is a condition called if condition. If it is null, then pass this value. If it is not null, then pass this value. That's a condition. In built-in functions, you would find a lot of conditions for expression transformation. Okay, you may have to just practice it. So just click on validate here, and you get L-trim martrim of the company. You get just click on OK. So you are doing a L-trim martrim of the company from this expression. Similarly, you can do multiple things for expression. So what you can do for expression is you can actually call things where you can concatenate. You can do a to date functions. For example, if you have any date column here, do we have a date column? We don't have a date column. Okay, we have first name, last name. You can want to concatenate first name, last name. You can concatenate it, or you want to pass some email as null value. For example, O_o_email. Okay, and just put a maximum value of 255. Click on OK, and now click on configure. So we have some null values here, right? So what you can do, again, you can take a IAF condition. So go to built-in functions, and if you just click on all functions, and just select IAF, and just click on, if you just click on this, or just click on double click on this, you get a expression here as IAF condition, expression 1, expression 2. What does it do is, if it is the condition as expression, expression 1 as expression, or expression 2 as expression. So which means that it would return the value of expression 1 if condition is true, or expression 2 if the condition is false. Okay, so what is the condition that we are trying to do here? If is null, again you can put is null condition, is null of, what is the field name that you want to pass. Click on the fields, select your email. Okay, you want to specify some condition as if email is null, you want to pass gmail.com. Let's say that is a requirement that you have. And else you want to pass the field itself. Click on validate. You understood, all of you, this? Any questions on this? Okay, so whoever is not given the details, please provide the details. Just provide your details in the chat. Your all your information. Fine. If you have not given, please provide that ASAP. So that is about email port and company that we have taken, right? So the expression is completed. Now the last step is we need to configure the target. So just click on this grid icon so that it gets arranged in a proper way. Now let's go to target and maximize this. Go to target again. Click on the connection. You want to create a target table. Select your Oracle connection. Click on select. And you can click on create new at runtime. Customers. Just give me a TGT underscore customers. Give the target table as TGT underscore customers. Click on OK. Save it. So the field mapping need not be done here because automatically the fields get mapped because we have taken the new target, because automatically the fields get mapped. If it is a case of an existing mapping, we need to map the fields. Okay, all of you understood this? So the mapping is valid. How do you know the mapping is valid? Click on this validation symbol. You get mapping is valid. And now the next step is you need to create a mapping configuration task. How do you create a mapping configuration task? Copy the mapping here. Click on these three dots and click on new mapping task. Okay, click on new mapping task and you get a window like this, and just copy that mapping name. Give the name as MCT. MCT stands for mapping configuration task. Select your local agent group, click on next and finish. So you need to create a mapping configuration task for every mapping that you create. So because we are only running a session, we are not supposed to run the standalone mapping. Okay. Now to see the job that is running, keep your monitor open in a new tab and you can click on run. The moment you click on run, you can go to my jobs and you can see the job that is running, or you can go to monitor. You can even go to monitor and you can see the running jobs. Okay, in the running jobs, you'll be able to see the job, the starting state, and from starting it will go to queued status, and from queued status it will go to running status. You understood, all of you?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So it is in the running status now. So once it is going to the running status, you'll see the number of rows processes for. It depends on the filter condition that we gave, right? We gave a filter condition of to filter all the null values of address 2. So we can just verify in the target table. So let's start from TGT underscore customers and just run this. You'll see all address 2 without null values. And again, we also had a scenario for gmail.com. So we gave it gmail.com. And one more thing, what we gave is, okay, state is HCLO. Okay, we got HCLO as a state. Why did we get that? Anyone has any idea about this? Why did we get that? And we had one more expression also, right? What was the expression that we had? We had company ultrim matrim. Okay, so the company is, okay, it only removed the spaces before and after. There were spaces in between. Okay, that's a different function altogether. But again, the state value is truncated here. Okay, so if you get something like this, how do you do it? You go to source, go to your fields. If you look at the state value here, right, there is the precision of 2. So probably, it is getting truncated. So there is an option. If you click on the options and click on edit metadata, you click on edit metadata, and you can increase the data type length here to, let's say you want to put as 10, just put it as 10. Okay, and save it. You don't have to do any propagate attributes. Automatically the fields get propagated to the downstream transformations. All the fields will get automatically populated. You understood? What did I do? I went to source, I went to the fields, and I just did a state is equal to 10. So I just saved the mapping. Mapping is saved, that's it. I'm not, I don't have to refresh my mapping task. The state is, this is done. So I can run it one more time, but I'll just make sure the target is truncated. Click on truncate target. Okay, copy this mapping, go to select. Okay, now we have to choose the existing target because we are running it for the second time. Select target customers. Click on OK. Save it. Now go to your field mapping. Okay, so if you see this, the field mapping, automatically the fields got mapped by because it has taken the automatic route. For example, you want to choose manual, just click on manual, and you can drag and drop it here by just putting your cursor, just like drag and drop to company, mail to mail, customer ID to customer ID, company to this first name, last name, or you can just select this drop down arrow just to a smart map. Automatically, the fields gets mapped using smart map. 7 fields were mapped using smart map. You understood, all of you? Without doing a field mapping for an existing target, your mapping is not valid. Click on save. So what did we do? We have taken the same target as existing target, and we just did a change from the state field to 10. And now I'm going to run it again. Click on run. Go to monitor, and you'll see that there is one more instance running. See, this is instance number 1. Okay, this is instance number 2. You'll see that the job is running now. It will go to starting and then queued status. From Q2, it will go to running status. Okay, now we'll get the same number of rows, 4 rows. And again, if I just do this again, just run this statement again. So we got the state here. Understood, all of you? You got the state appropriately. Got it? Any questions on this so far? Okay. So how many of you have done the pre-processing and post-processing? I have sent those details to all of you through a Google Drive. Did all of you got a chance to work on it?
Shiva, hi, good morning. This is
Okay.
Bhavani.
Okay. Can I have the names, please? Just want to make sure I have the right names. I have Sahiti, right? I have Sahiti, Pradeep, right? Pradeep. Uh, who else I have? Bhavani. Brahmaya. Okay.
Mahesh. Yeah.
Mahesh. Okay. Who else?
Radhakrishna.
Krishna.
Yeah,
Okay.
Radhakrishna.
Radha Krishna. Okay. Who else? Okay. I have one more Sahiti. Right. And Sahiti, Mahesh, Krishna, Pradeep, Bhavani, and Brahmaya. That's it. Okay. I have 7 participants, right? Okay. So I have given you the Google Drive link, for all of you to. There is a notepad, that I uploaded for secure agent status and also the pre and post SQL. Did you do that? All of you has done that? Okay, no problem. I'll
Shiva,
explain it to you.
am I audible?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah. Tell me.
Yeah, Shiva, this is Bhavani, and this is my first class actually. So, did I
Oh,
miss
this is your first
anything?
class.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So, do I need to do
Yeah.
the prerequisites?
Yeah. I'll tell you about it. I'll tell you about this. So,
Mm-hmm.
Pavani, you have experience in Power Center?
Ah, yes, Shiva.
Okay, you have experience, right? Okay, I'll explain
Correct.
it to you. Okay,
Sure, sure.
so
Thank
I did this mapping. This is only the third day actually. First day we discussed about secure agent setup and free trial account and everything, and also make sure the secure agent status is up and running. And second day we did some mappings to remove duplicates, and we did a mapping with an Oracle load. So I'm going to create a copy of this. So how do you create a copy? just click the box here, go to your folder and click on this down arrow, okay, and click on copy to and select your project folder and click on select. You get a prompt saying, okay, you have a naming conflict. Click on keep both. So what does it do? It is making a copy of that mapping, the copy of that same mapping. So let's go to that mapping again. Oracle employees load copy 1. Okay, so I'll just rename this to Oracle employees load to pre and post processing, so that we understand, okay, we are doing this. So I had a source. Okay, I had a source. What was my source? My source was employees table, and I'm loading into my target. So what is the expression that I'm doing? I'm actually doing a concatenation of first name and last name. This nothing much. A source, and I'm loading into my target. Okay, with expression. Next, what I'm doing is in the source we had some properties under query options to filter or sort the data, and also we had pre-SQL and post-SQL. Okay, where you are inserting some data. This is done at a mapping level. Okay, we discussed about these values at a mapping level where you do a pre-SQL and post-SQL. Fine. So just click on this pre-SQL and just delete the pre-SQL here. So we are doing a pre-SQL and post-SQL at the mapping configuration task, not at a mapping level. We did that in the mapping level previously. Okay, so how do you do it? I just created this mapping. Now I need to create a mapping configuration task. So just copy this mapping. Mapping configuration task is nothing but a session like your Power Center. In Power Center, you have a session, right? So in IICS, we have a mapping task or a mapping configuration task. Give a name, just give the MCT underscore, paste the mapping name that you copied, select your secure agent group, click on next. So when you click on next, right, in the schedule tab, the second tab, you have schedule tab where you can run this task on a schedule, or you can also have email notification, which we will discuss later. So there are a couple of advanced options called pre-processing and post-processing commands. Okay, pre-processing and post-processing commands. So how do you create a pre-processing command? You need to call a batch script or a shell script. In real time, you call a shell script or a batch script. If your secure agent is running on Windows machine, you have a bash script, or if it is on Linux, you have a shell script. Okay, so I have a folder called bash scripts. Okay, I have a folder called bash scripts, and I have a batch file called pre-SQL test new. Okay, I have a bash script called pre-SQL test new, and inside the bash scripts, I also have the scripts folder where I created some SQL files. What are my SQL files? For example, I'll just tell you about this test script 3 and test script 4. Okay, I'll just open this. Now I'm only inserting some values here, some random values into this table through a SQL file, and the bash script is calling the SQL file. So this is an insert statement for test script 3.SQL. It is actually inserting some values into the table. And now test script 4. What is test script 4 doing? It is actually deleting that table. Okay, that's a post processing. Fine. So how do I invoke this bash script? I'll show you that. Go to bash scripts. Now pre-SQL test new. For example, this is a one. I'll just click on edit with Notepad++, and I need to provide the test script that I want to invoke. What was the test script that I want to invoke? Test script 3, right? So I'll just give the name here as test script 3.SQL and save this. Click on save. I'm giving a path like SQL plus Scott Tiger, but it's not Scott Tiger. So I'm giving a different schema here. So I'm giving src INFA and the password src-infa and the path. I'll just save this. So what is a bash script? How did I create the bash script? I just opened a notepad. Okay. I just opened a notepad and then I just copied this content here and just gave this one as the location where I want to invoke the SQL file. Click on File, Save As, and go to your bash scripts location and just type. Let's say you want to give the name as employees pre-SQL. Okay, employees pre-SQL dot bat. BAT stands for batch. Click on all files and click on save. So you have a bash script that is employees pre-SQL. Again, you want to double check it. Click on edit with notepad++. You get test script 3.SQL. So this bash script is invoking my test script 3 bash SQL from scripts folder. Okay, how did I get the SQL file? Again, same thing. I just copy the values here, open a notepad, save it, and file, save as, and go to my scripts location and just give test script. Again, I'll just give the name as test script employees dot SQL. I give the name extension as .SQL, all files, click on save. That's it. All of you understood how did I get this? Employees pre-SQL .batch, and that is invoking the test script 3.SQL, right? So how do I invoke this test script? Now I need to do call. Just you need to type call space, go to the bash scripts location, copy this path, and you need to put a backward slash. Copy the bash script name. Okay, .bat. Just click on finish. So what is this doing? This is doing a pre-processing. What is it doing? It is doing a pre-processing to insert the values into your table and load into target. Click on finish. So the mapping configuration task, this is about pre-processing. What did we do? We are just doing a call bash script to call a pre-processing command. Understood? Any questions on this from anyone? Any questions from anyone on this? Okay.
Shiva, I just have a quick question here. If I can get the previous recordings, hope that will be helpful for me.
Yeah. Sure. You will be getting the previous recordings from organizer. I'll ask them to send it across to you. Okay.
Sure.
I think you can. There's nothing much that is covered. You've not lost anything majorly, but you can refer to the recordings, previous recordings. That's more about secure agent installation, configuration, and how to make sure the services are up and running. And we did a couple of mappings for database and flat files, and also Salesforce connection. That's pretty much. You can refer to the recordings. I'll ask them to send it across to you.
Sure. Thank you.
Fine. So, sorry, you were asking something. Who was asking something? Can't see the message. Just a minute. I can only run the batch files in the preprocessor. Can I run a direct SQL script? So we can run a SQL script as well, but I'm invoking a bash script through a pre-processing command. We'll just do that and just show you that. How does it work? Okay, we can also explore that option also. Go to my jobs. Okay, just click on refresh. keep clicking on this refresh option, so that it will go to starting state and then go to your running status. And the moment it goes to running status, right, you can click on this instance name, and you want to see the properties. You can click on the properties. You'll see the information about the number of rows that are processed, number of rows that are read, and number of rows that are processed. Okay, just click on refresh here. Okay, this is completed and it is success. We got 24 rows loaded to your target table. So how do you know that if it is called a pre-processing? Just click on the download session log. Okay, just open this. And if you scroll down, right, just scroll down, you see that it's created 3 rows here. 1 row created, 1 row created. So it started this. Generally, you directly jump into start load session. So before the load has started, actually, this has inserted the values into your table. Okay, this is inserted the values into your table with these 3 rows. For example, so this is called a bash script here. If you look at this, the bash script called here, right? So started shell command call. Call is a syntax that you're supposed to do, which is calling a SQL script. Now, if I just go back to this mapping configuration task, any questions on this from anyone? Is that clear? You understood this log, right? It created rows and it inserted into your target table. What was the target table? T underscore employees, right? So this is your target table. So it's inserted some rows here, some random rows which I inserted here. Now, let's say if I want to call a post-processing command, what I need to do? I need to go to the next step again. Go to Schedule tab. Okay, and in the Schedule tab, I'll just have to remove this. I can just copy the same thing here, put it here, but I'm changing the script name as employees post SQL. Okay, post SQL dot batch, and click on finish. But we have not created that bash script yet. So we need to create the bash script. So I go to this post SQL, click on edit with Notepad++. The same thing, we just invoking a test script 4, which is actually dropping that table. What is the test script 4 doing? It is doing a T underscore employees. Okay, test script 4 is deleting the data, but it is not dropping the table. It is only emptying the data. Okay, so I'll have to save this as save as, and go to this, and I need to just change this to post SQL. Employees post SQL dot batch. Click on save, so that it gets saved. Okay, and right. So here again, the same thing what I am doing here. Actually, if I just do this is a post-processing command to run a post-processing command. Once it is read the data from the table and loads into the target table, it is actually doing a truncate. So just click on run, go to your monitor, or just go to your my jobs, and you'll be able to see that. you'll be seeing the number of rows processed here. But actually, if you look at the session log, just click on download session log. And if I want to run this at the database side, you won't be able to see the data because the data is truncated. The data is truncated, and how do we know that? We go to the this one. Just open the log here again, and if you scroll down, right, there is a delete statement which runs. There is a delete statement which runs, and what it does? It is actually doing invoking this bash script, and it's connecting to the database, and it is deleting 69 rows are deleted. You can verify it in your log. So it's invoking a script, a SQL script through a batch. All of you understood this? So what did I do is I have uploaded that sample bash scripts, right, in my Google Drive, and I shared it with everyone. Did you get, all of you got that?
No, Shiva, I haven't received any mail.
Okay, just a minute. I've asked the organizer to share it with everyone. Just a minute. I have lot of set of files, which are part of my training batches. So what I do is generally I share all that things. Okay, so anyone has any questions on that things so far? Like, what has been covered so far? Okay, you got the Google Drive link. All of you got it, right? Similarly, I'm going to give you the bash scripts also. So all of you understood this, how to create, how to invoke a pre and post processing command through bash scripts. Understood, right? Okay, fine. So I'll move on to the next next topic so that we can discuss about one more property. I mean, one more thing about file list, and then we'll move on to joiner transformation. So just click on new mappings and mapping. Okay, so for example, you have a couple of files, or you have more than 2 files with the same structure, right, in your training folder. Let's say you want to call customer central files, customer central, customer east, which are having the same headers, and even though the data is different, the structure is the same, right? So how do you call these files? So you need to go to, for example, I just give the mapping name as m underscore file list process. Okay, example, I'll just give the name like this, m underscore file list process example. Go to source. Now select your flat files connection, and the source type, you can select your file list. There is something called file list. Select your file list, click on select. And the moment you select something, again, this is You may be knowing, right? This you have done it in Power Center. So same thing, like what you can actually call a source file list. Like you have a file list. Just a minute. Okay, file list dot txt, file list text. So what is this file list text doing? It is actually taking the path of the file and it is processing two files at a time, like customer central.txt and customer uh, east.txt. So what I need to do, I need to select that file list. Okay, file list, the file that I created to call, or to process those two files, file list here .txt. Click on OK. And if you look at this, the moment it picks up those two files, they're actually reading the path, right? If you just click on preview data, it is going to show you only the path of the files. It is not showing the actual data. It shows only the path of the files. Sorry, it's showing the data here. Go to fields. Yeah, you get all the fields because it is reading from the file, from both the files that is reading from file list. And you want to just load into your target, you can just have a pass-through expression, save it. So this is actually doing a combined load of both customer and central, customer and east. Select your Flatfare connection again. Click on select. Now select your create new at runtime, file list tgt.csv. You want to process as .csv. You can just, okay, it's already existing, so we can just give the name as file list tgt1.csv. You get a prompt if the target is already existing. You get a prompt here. Click on OK. Because my Flatfile connection is reading my local directory. Okay, so it is able to identify there is a file that is existing with that name. So it would recommend me to use a different name. So you understood about file list here, all of you? Have you understood this? Any questions on this so far? Okay. So I'll copy the mapping name. Again, click on this dotted lines here. Click on new mapping task. Go to your mapping task and just paste the mapping name here. Select your secure agent group. Click on next and finish it. Okay, so we have the mapping task created. Click on run. Go to my jobs or to the monitor. Keep closing this because it's a good practice, and you just keep closing the previous ones, or else you get confused on what job you are looking at. Just keep closing and just look at the current job that is running status. So this is going to actually process those two files and load into a single file. So we got 3,829 rows in our target here. File list tgt1. Okay, this is a file name. So we got all this rows here. Understood? So it just combined central and ESD files here. Any questions from anyone on this? Okay, so these are the simple things what I'm explaining it. Maybe it sounds simple for someone from Power Center background, But if you have to practice it so that you get used to the IICS interface. How does it work for IICS interface? Like we have the transformations, we have few advanced transformations which I will be discussing later. But I want you to understand how to navigate to this interface. For example, I go to my home page. This is a kind of a dashboard, where you would find everything with the runtime environments, connections, projects, folders, how many assets you have, my jobs. Okay, you see the moment you see something which is done recently, you want to open it again. There are two ways to go about it. You need to go to explore, and you can actually go to your folder and you can see the mapping or the mapping task that you have done, and you can open it, or you go to home tab. You can pick up the latest one here, which will be last access location. Okay, fine. Any questions so far? You understood? All of you understood this? Okay. So I'll move on to the next mapping. So these are some simple mappings that we're creating. So for example, I want to create a joiner transformation. Okay, I want to join items and promotions using a joiner transformation. Okay, so I take a source. Now I just select this. I just put my mouse, here. I just select this, click on delete. I want to make a copy of the source. Okay, so I go to source here. I can drag and drop it here, or I can make a copy and paste. So I get one more source here, right? I get one more source here, which is source and source one. For example, I go to source here, and here I select my connection, and then I'm going to take my items table. Okay, this is my items table I've taken, and the second source. So just to make sure you don't get confused, right? You just rename this as src underscore items. Okay, so that you understand. Okay, this is a item source, and this is promotions, src underscore items in promotions. And same thing, go to source again, select your Oracle connection, click on select items in promotions, click on OK. So we have two sources, just make sure you keep saving it, even if it is an invalid thing, that's okay. So that if you don't save it, you may have to do it one more time if you had a internet issue and something lost, right? Okay, now we'll be using a joiner transformation. Drag and drop your joiner. Click on the plus icon here. You get master and detail, right? You get master and detail. So we'll have to verify which table is having lesser number of rows, right? Which is my master table. Select start from items. Let's verify this. Okay, this is having around 31 rows. Items in promotions. So how many rows this one is having? This one is having around 15 rows. Okay, so items in promotions is my master. So I drag and drop it here in my master. And similarly items, I'll drag and drop it here in my detail. Click on save. Okay, now I go to my joiner transformation. Go to, you get something called field name conflicts detected. To make field names unique, rename the fields in the previous transformation or change the renaming options in this transformation field rules. Okay, so you get a field name conflicts. So why did we get field name conflicts? Because of the item ID. For example, select start from items and select start from items and promotions, right? You just run this. We have item ID, item name, description, this one like this. Similarly, in items and promotions, we have item ID. So this is a conflicting thing, right? So how do you resolve the conflicts? Click on resolve field name conflicts. and you get something called bulk rename options. For example, I want to do a bulk rename for my items as prefix, and I want to give a name for items as items underscore, or I want to put something like src1, whatever as per your choice. Just put items underscore. So all the fields will get appended with items underscore in your incoming fields. See, all the fields coming from my items table gets appended with items underscore. All of you understood this with this field name conflicts, right? Okay, now save this. Click on join condition, and you have this normal simple join conditions. So there are 4 types of join conditions. So right. So what are the 4 types of join conditions? Now, for example, in my joiner transformation, you have normal join, master outer join, detail outer join, and full outer join. So normal is what it actually only joins a rows with matching join conditions and discards other rows that do not match. Master outer is it will take all the rows from the detail pipeline and only matching rows from master pipeline. Discards all other rows. When detail outer is exactly opposite to master outer and full outer is, it will take all the rows from both master and detail pipeline. You understood? So a simple normal condition, I just click on plus and I need to specify the item ID here coming from my items in promotions to item ID coming from my items table. Click on save. Just click on, just map it to your target. Click on this. So your mapping is completed. Go to target and you can create a target on runtime. Select it. Same thing what we did earlier. Click on create new runtime and just give the name as target join items promo. I'll just put like that name like this. Save it. Okay. So I'll just run this. Okay, I'll just run this. Okay, sorry, I have to create a mapping configuration task for this. So I'll just save this and I just to make sure that this is valid, click on this validation icon. You get mapping is valid. And now you need to create a mapping configuration task. Click on this new mapping task. Give the name here. Click on next. Click on finish. So your mapping task is done. So we're going to run this. Click on run. Go to your monitor page. Close this. Go to running jobs. It will go to like starting status from starting to queued state and from queued status to running status. Just keep refreshing this. So we did a joiner transformation, a simple joiner transformation. What we did. Okay, we got the success. We got 15 rows process, right? So you can just verify it in the target table. Select star from. You get the conditions accordingly. Like depending on the normal join, it has joined 2 tables, right? Now the important thing, one more important thing, what I would like to cover today is, okay, now let's say we have one more flow, right? One more flow, source and target, and just drag and pass through expression here. Okay, yes, right, source you take a connection. Sometimes, you may have these issues where you have to clean up your cookie data. So just keep refreshing your page. I mean, sometimes, you may not see the connections also, but just keep refreshing your page and you should be good to see your connection back again. So as I told you, right? So I just refreshed the page, reloaded the page, and, I'm back into the mapping again because I saved the mapping. If I don't save it, I won't be able to get this. So go to source again and select your connection. So your connection is back. And let's say you want to load items, or items in promotions. Let's click on OK, and just put an expression, and you want to put a filter, and you want to filter something like a simple filter condition where you want to put discount, discount is greater than equal to 20. Let's say you just want to filter something like greater than equal to 20, and go to target. Take the same connection, click on create, create new at runtime. Give the name as target underscore items discount. Click on OK, save it. So if you notice this, there are two flows here, right? There are two different flows. So one is a top flow, which is actually doing a joiner, and this is the second flow, which is actually having a different mapping. So there is something called flow run order. Okay, if you just click on the three dots here, you click on flow run order. This is going to specify which one you want to run first. You want to run this one first, or you want to run this one first. For example, I want to run this flow first. Click on this, and you can just bring it up or bring it down, and click on save the mapping, right? So we only had one mapping task for two different pipelines. For two different mapping pipelines, we only had one mapping task. That is fine. So we just have to go to Home tab, and we can open that mapping configuration task that we created. We just open this mapping configuration task. Okay, now you're getting these two flows within that mapping itself. Okay, you have one mapping which is shown, but there are two different flows here. Multi-object source. Okay, you get multi-object source with source and target, source and target. You understood all of you this? Flow and order. Okay, so the order that I specified was I want to run. Click on this flow and order, and I gave the first order to run as this one, source and target one, which is nothing but my filter discount is greater than equal to 20. I want to run that first. So I go to my mapping configuration task, click on run, and now go to my jobs. If you look at my jobs, right, and let it go to the running status. So queued status now. From queued, it will go to running status, and in the running status, you will find that just it's in the running status now. The first one that is triggered was a flow that I started, that I initiated. So I initiated the first one, which is source. So that will start first, and then it'll load the first flow, and then the second one will get started. You want to double check it again, you can just click on download session log, and you can verify it as per the flow run order that you have specified. It has picked up that mapping pipeline and it started. Okay, so how do you know it? uh, you can just go to start load session. Okay, so this is read it from this table. Okay, and then it process 15 rows and load session, and again it started this one, and the second line has been started. So depending on the flow run order that we gave, it started the flow. You understood, all of you? Any questions so far from anyone? Any questions? Hello? Yeah, am I audible to everyone?
Yeah, yes, Shiva. We are good.
Okay, okay. So that's a thing. I mean, that's a planned session for today, and tomorrow we'll discuss about some of the transformations, and then we'll move on to mapping parameters and variables. How do you call mapping parameters and variables? Okay, I want to check with everyone if you're having issues with secure agent. Please let me know. Your secure agent is up and running, all of you?
Yes.
Okay. So if you, just in case if your secure agent is not running and if you're having issues, right? Uh, just a minute. I'll also share you the steps document. Okay, I'll share this steps document where it is going to help you. How do you troubleshoot this? For example, your secure agent is installed in D directory. You need to go to this path called locally secure agent /apps/agent core, and then you have to check the status like console agent manager dot match with the usage of get status. Okay, get status, and then if it is not configured, you need to configure it with your username and password. Okay, and deploying status. So this document is going to help you. Just in case if you don't have it, if your services are not up and running, just make sure you double click on about agent manager dot batch using your administrator privilege, and then run agent manager dot batch. I hope all of you understood this. If you want, I can share this one also. You want me to share this notepad? Any one of you want this notepad?
Yes, Shiva, that would be helpful.
Okay, fine. I'm just putting it in the chat. Please pick it up from there. Fine. So, any questions on the topics that are covered for today from anyone? Any questions? Please practice, because without practice you won't be getting anything. You have to practice. I'll also give you the files where you can actually practice things. So let me go to the flat files. Just a minute. Yeah, practice files. Okay, I'll share this. Okay, I've also given you the practice files zip file, which is having the the list of files which are CSV files, and there are some TXT files, JSON files, right, which would be useful for you. So just make sure you download everything. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you everyone for joining the session, and we'll meet up again tomorrow at 7 a.m. IST. Okay, please practice.